Morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I'm hoping that you can hear me. It's a little bit windy. Our pain is our medicine, and this is an interesting idea to grasp. We often in life shun away from pain. We often move away from fear. Actually, in saying this, I haven't done a live feed where I've been walking up and down my street for a while. It's a little bit nostalgic, actually, and it's lovely to be able to connect to home. I've been away a fair amount of late, and I haven't had the opportunity just to ground and connect. So I've been going to the beach once, twice a day, just to really soak up what Fremantle has to offer. I feel very blessed being here. So I thought I had this epiphany, this inspiration to just jump on a live feed and speak to forgiveness and healing and our past and what it all means, and the importance of forgiveness for our brains, for our minds, for our relationships, for who we are. And I just thought, you know what, I feel like walking up and down my fucking street. So that's what I'm doing. I was just at home, just working away. I'm going to go to the beach soon. You probably won't be able to see it. Milad, how are you, brother? Hey, Milad, we're going to talk soon as well, man. If we don't talk this afternoon, we'll talk tomorrow, yeah? But I'll call you, bro. So what's really cool is that, it's cool for me anyway, that I'm here and I'm able to just walk and connect and share with you this wisdom, these thoughts that I've had and I've been thinking deeply into. So give me a number one, by the way, if you're here, and an emoticon to let me know how you're feeling, because I know there's a few people coming on, but I can't see everybody coming on. So welcome to all those that are coming on. But give me a number one in the comment box so I can welcome you, of course. The community and the tribe knows that you're here too. And we can all begin this very open discussion on forgiveness and this open discussion on what it means to be connected to self. Milad, brother, we're definitely going to talk later, man. Smile, my man, because all is well, but feel the feels as well. That's important too, yeah? Feel the feelings. Feeling the feelings is so important. And this is what this live feed is essentially about. It's about us connecting to our feelings. Now, too much harping on the past is not healthy for us. Too much concentrating on what was is not healthy for us. And I saw a very interesting inspirational TED talk yesterday. It was short, it was pertinent, it was powerful, and it spoke to heartbreak, and it spoke to how we move through relationship and how breakups affect us, how relationships that are over, how they actually affect our psyche, how they affect our emotionality, how they affect the way we function. And of course, the way we function is really predicated on the choices we make. And if we reverse engineer this, and I've just sort of developed a model around this, reverse engineer our choices, we find that our choices are underpinned by something. They could be underpinned by, for example, our belief systems or our models of reality. And our models of reality and belief systems are underpinned by something else, and that is underpinned by our feelings. I should go back. Our interpretation of the world around us, our feelings, yeah? So our thoughts. So we've got these choices that we make, we've got thoughts, we've got emotions, conscious and unconscious, we've got belief systems, models of reality, we've got our interpretation of the world, we've got our feelings as well. Jackie, hi, welcome. We've got, of course, after that as well, the way our visceral body interacts with the environment. Then we've got the topology or the environment that we actually live in, which is varies for everybody. And of course, we've got culture and demographics and society and familial dynamics and a myriad of other elements that contribute to the topology of our environment, right? So how we deal with pain or how we deal with suffering or how we deal with a breakup, for example, is predicated upon so much conscious and unconscious that's occurring in our lives. And this is really interesting. But some of us, and you know, I've been there, and I'm sure many of you have been there, maybe a number two in the comment box if you've been there, if you've experienced a really difficult breakup, if you've experienced a parting of ways with you and your beloved, if you have ended a relationship or the relationship has just ended irrespective of who has consciously or unconsciously ended it. But you've been there and it's been extremely painful and you've felt extreme disconnection in that for a period of time after. And you're always asking yourself, I'm an intelligent person, I'm a connected person, I am someone that is is present to life, that loves life. But this pain that I'm feeling, this fear that I'm going through after this separation, after this breakup, the anxiety that I'm feeling is really destructive, and it's really hurting me. And I'm struggling to understand how to move through this. And our behavior changes, our attitudes change, our belief systems change. We begin to become more withdrawn, introverted. We go in ourselves, we become insular. We become hyper emotional. Either we become depressed in our posturing. We become sad. We become disconnected from life, from our friends, from what we value, from what is important to us, from having fun, from being playful. We begin to lose so much in life, or the perception of loss at least takes place. And just put a hand up or a number 2 in the comment box if you've been there, if you've experienced that, or if you know someone that has experienced that, someone close to you, and what that has meant for them. And you're sort of asking yourself, what is going on here? I am this connected, intelligent person. I've got it together, but this is just breaking me. And it's maybe sometimes months and months, even years after, and you still find yourself being so disconnected, being in such a pain state, and you can't shift the pain state. And what is it? And there's a myriad of things that are occurring in the body, in the being, in the mind, in the psyche, in the emotional body, in the physical body as well, that keeps us coming back to this past relationship. Now, the purpose of this video is really to speak to self-forgiveness and to speak to empowering self through forgiveness. But before we get there, it's important to touch base on this, because what this is effectively going to do is give us insight and give us tools and an understanding into shifting life and moving through life in such a way that actually allows us to experience harmony, that actually allows us to experience connection, meaning, and that actually will give us context and a revealing into the pain and the fear that we experience, and will give us context into our breakups or into the ending of intimate relationships, whether they be romantic intimate relationships, or whether they be just intimate relationships with close friends and family members and so forth. Because we sometimes hit sticking points, we sometimes have disagreements, we butt heads, we experience conflict, we struggle to understand others for others to understand us. We are not being seen, we are not being heard, we are not being known, we are not being felt, and we can't or cannot reciprocate that for others as well. And that really destroys, or the compounding effect of that behaviour destroys over time flourishing, beautiful, vibrant, thriving relationships. And we wonder, why relationships break up. Now, the why is elusive. The why is multiple. It could be for so many reasons, and that's not the purpose of this live feed right here and right now. But what is the purpose of this, again, is to understand what can we do, what tools or tool can we implement to help us really shift through that pain and move beyond that past relationship, so that we can grow and that we can then begin to give our best in our new relationships as well. And of course, give our best to ourselves, give our best to who we are as people, give our best to what we value deeply, to what we value profoundly. And that again then changes the way we move through the world and the experiences that we have and how we really absorb life, yeah? So every time, love is an addiction. It's a neurochemical addiction. It's a hormonal addiction. And when we break up, especially if that breakup is volatile, or if that breakup is challenging or difficult, or if we did not want to move away from our beloved at that time, from our partner, especially if we did not want to move away, but circumstantially we had to, we will struggle to let go. We'll struggle to let the memories go. We'll struggle to let the essence of that person or that relationship go. In other words, we will remain in the past, we will live in the past, and we won't be able to be present. We won't be able to move with presence in the present moment. And we won't be able to envision a future for ourselves that is healthy and that is connected and that is vibrant and that is beautiful, because we are stuck in the past. And we have generally a polarized view of the past. So we have this dissonance, this cognitive dissonance and emotional dissonance within us, where we're experiencing constantly through memory what is important to us, the importance of the relationship. But physically we do not have the relationship in our lives. We are not experiencing the relationship physically. And this is the disconnect, this is the dissonance. So internally in our minds and in our emotional bodies, we're living vicariously through our memories this experience, or these experiences, this relationship that no longer physically exists. And every time we go back into that relationship in our memories, every time we enter that space and we think how wonderful that relationship was, or how beautiful that relationship was, or how endearing that person was, or how wonderful they were, and they may have been, and absolutely they would have been, how much they loved us and how much we cared for them. And I remember when I was here and I was there and we did this together and we did that together and we shared this experience and we shared this meal, and every time I come here it reminds me of her or him and how I experienced that, how we experienced that together, and we shared that. And will I ever share that again with anybody else? And can I share that again to that level, to that intensity, to that depth? Number 3 in the comment box, if you've felt that before, if you've experienced that, if you are going through that or you know someone that is going through that, it's very important. Put a hand up, a little emoticon, raise the hand on the emoticon. I love that little hand raise. And that's cool. But every time we do that, we release those neurochemicals, that dopamine hit, that serotonin hit in the body, and it brings us back to that moment, and it locks us in the past. It locks us in the past, and we consistently have this polarized view of our relationship and of what we do not have now, what we perceive not to have right now. Gail mentions grieving. Grieving is super important, and there is a time and a space for every single emotion we experience on the spectrum of emotions. Negative emotions, not necessarily saying that grieving is a negative emotion. It becomes a negative emotion when it's used by a date and it expires. When it expires, its usefulness expires. And what I mean by that is that there is wisdom in every experience that we have and every emotion that we feel. But if we perpetuate a particular emotion that does not serve us, that keeps us in the past and does not keep us from being present, does not allow us to remain in the present, we struggle and we're losing in life. There's no real loss in life. That's why I do that. Because there's always a gain. It's about our perception, our perspective that we take, the vantage point that we take in life will determine how we feel about life and how we perceive to be either winning or losing in life. Those constructs ultimately don't really exist. But every time we take ourselves back to that memory or those memories, we're locking ourselves in the past, and we are deterring ourselves from actually being present and therefore being open and curious and explorative and, of course, open-hearted and loving in the present moment, which means we are neglecting our ability to actually meet new and wonderful people in the here and the now. And this becomes problematic for the way we move through life, and it becomes problematic for how we show up in life. Now, showing up in life, this is a buzz term, and I speak to this every now and then. Showing up in life is something that is used frequently and regularly in certain circles, the language. What does showing up actually mean? Showing up means being aware of who you are in wholeness. Showing up means not polarizing yourself. Showing up means being present. So polarizing ourselves by only focusing on one element of our existence or one element of who we are. Showing up means we have to show up with everything that we are, with everything that we've been, with everything that we've experienced in life. And when we do that, we give ourselves every opportunity to thrive, every opportunity to be present to the fullness of life. Now, there seems to be a big party over here at Monument Hill, so I'm not going to go up there. I'm just going to hang around here, and it's nice here. It's quiet, well, it's sort of quiet, except for some people driving loud cars, but it's nice. So we're only able to show up when we get really present with who we are. We only show up when we acknowledge and take ownership of everything that we are in life. Now, when we're stuck in the past, we're not able to be present, it's clear. So how do we counteract this? It's not about not feeling those beautiful emotions and acknowledging and being in reverence of the experiences that you've had with someone else, with someone that you've shared a life with. But it's about relating to those thoughts, those memories, those ideas of what you experience in a way that is conducive to your health and to the health of those around you. You have no right to live your life denying the world of your brilliance. And when we live in the past in a negative way, in a way that affects us, affects our mental health, emotional health, spiritual health, and physical health, we are denying the world of the best version of who we are. And that's fucked. And we shouldn't do that. And we cannot do that. and that is not growth, and that is not contribution, and that is not valuing who you are. That is lowering your self-worth. You give me number 4 in the comment box if you can resonate with that. And give me number 4 in the comment box if you can really feel that, and if you can understand, not only cognitively, but if you can understand here with this, what that means and the importance of that and how valuable that would be for your life and for those people that are in your life as well. So write a list. You know, a few years ago, I was in the car with a good friend of mine. He's a beautiful friend. I love him so dearly. And he was in a he was in a conflicting situation, and he was in love, deeply in love, and connected to, I suppose, a woman that he knew just wasn't right for him. She didn't align with him, and he didn't really align with her, but there was something there. There was something deep there that they were connected by, and he kept doing his best to pull himself away. He kept doing his best to leave that relationship, but he just couldn't. He had a polarized idea and view of what that relationship looked like. He had a polarized idea and view of what that relationship meant to him. And I said to him, brother, do something for you. Grab a piece of paper and write down all of the traits and the attributes in every facet of your relationship that you don't value in the relationship, and every characteristic or personality trait of this woman that you don't really value, don't appreciate, you don't resonate with. And by doing this, he was able to see another version of her and of the relationship that he couldn't see. He was able to see another vantage point that he couldn't quite hold. And I was watching this TED Talk yesterday. This gentleman, the psychologist, said something very similar. I thought, oh, cool. I said that to my friend a few years ago, and it was a really lovely reinforcement, and it got me thinking deeper about this whole process. And then what this gentleman said was, you take that piece of paper and you keep it in your wallet or you keep it in your pocket constantly, and every time, because this is a pattern interrupt, every time you have that thought that brings you back, that limits your potential in that moment, is look at that piece of paper and just get an equilibrated, I'm paraphrasing, equilibrated, balanced, neutralized view of your past, so that you're not just seeing all of the roses, you're not just seeing all of the love and the beauty, but you're also seeing all the difficulty and the challenge and the disharmony and the disconnection that actually took place in that relationship and why. And that perspective gives us a balanced perspective, a harmonious perspective, and we're able to recognize that then in life. And that really is liberating. That frees us. That frees us from thinking that A, that's all that will ever be, that is all that is ever we are going to experience as value. And B, it gives us hope, intelligent hope, that we will meet and we will encounter beautiful people in our lives that will complement our journey, that will add value to our lives, and that will assist us in recognizing our brilliance and our magnificence and who we are and how we choose to move through the world and how we choose to be amazing human beings. And that's a really cool tool, right? Now that was the foundation that I wanted to lay for really speaking to forgiveness, speaking to open, transparent forgiveness, and how that allows us to actually have an endearing, wonderful, connected, contributive life. And when we're able to do that, we're really able to experience life from a place of evolution, a place of expansion, a place of growth. You see, there are 6 basic human needs in this life. Certainty is one of them. Uncertainty or variety is another. Growth is deeply important. Love and connection. Contribution. These values allow us to be deeply entrenched in who we are and how we choose to move through life. Now, forgiveness is key to fulfilling our ability to contribute to the world. If we cannot forgive ourselves for choices that we've made, actions that we've taken, we remain stuck in a perpetual negative cycle of self-loathing. We remain stuck in thinking and feeling we are not enough. We remain stuck in so many different fears depending on our disposition in life. And these fears drive our pains. And our pain becomes so debilitating that that's all that we can focus on. We cannot focus on anything else because our pain is so overpowering, driven by these fears that we're clenched onto because we cannot let go of who we've been or what we've done. In my life, I have made choices and I have made assumptions. I've made choices that have not been conducive to the health of others, the relationship that I've been into my own health, and I've hurt other people. And I've hurt other people not with intentional malice, but with deep ignorance and fear, been driven by fear. There's never been an intent to hurt, but that has been the outcome. I've hurt others and I've hurt myself, and it's been in this complete ignorance, and there's no excuses. So I've been 100% conscious and responsible for my choices. And we keep making these choices and we keep repeating these choices that are not healthy or conducive to our growth and the growth of our communities and the people around us. Apologies for the wind. I haven't mastered being able to control the weather just yet. Working on it. And in this space where we make choices that hurt others and hurt us, if we don't move through a journey of forgiveness, self-compassion, kindness, understanding, connection, love for self, self-love, we're not doing any justice to the dynamic of that relationship. We're not doing any justice to what we experience, the learning that we experience in that relationship. We're not doing any justice to our future selves. And we're not doing any justice to those around us, our communities, the world, who we are as people. We're losing in that space, so to speak. We are operating at a detriment. We are being pulled back into who we've been, who isn't necessarily who we are. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, a great deal of effort is required in order to shift paradigms, in order to be aware of the choices that we make and why we are making these choices. You know, I was a person that made choices in my life that really hurt the women that were in my life and the relationships that I was in. And also as a young person, I wasn't able to really self-regulate. My emotional self, I lacked that emotional intelligence per se, that ability to really understand self. And I use, there's so many different links and connections to me growing up and what I experienced and how I interpreted that and how I understood that moving through life. But I was hyper aggressive in my posturing. I had a very rigid framework by which I moved through the world. There was great rigidity in the way I thought. Yet there was also an expansive openness as well in the way I thought and the way I felt about the world. And that was also beautiful, but it was short-lived. I couldn't really bypass at that point in my time my neurology, the reactive self, the reactive Steph, that didn't allow people really in, that didn't really allow intimacy. I did, but it was more superficial. I wasn't allowing myself to move at depth. And it was that not allowing, because I was stuck in the past, because I was unable to forgive my actions and my choices, which wouldn't free me and liberate me, and didn't allow me to really experience the fullness of those choices and learn from them and grow from them and then bring that knowledge into the next stage and stages of my life. I just kept remaining in the past, and I was wondering, why am I making these choices? In fact, I wasn't wondering that. I was just wondering, why am I suffering? Why am I in pain? Why am I experiencing fear? But I didn't know why, and I just kept making the same choices. I wasn't evaluating my belief systems. I wasn't evaluating my models of reality. I wasn't evaluating my feeling state. I wasn't evaluating the way I was thinking and moving through the world, the way I was relating to people. I wasn't observing the way I was communicating, the way I was really thinking about the world and myself. And I was just hating on myself. There was this unconscious hate. Maybe hatred's a strong word. Maybe it isn't. There were moments of that. There were moments of deep dislike and disconnection from self and not appreciating who I was. And because I couldn't forgive myself, I couldn't forgive my actions that I knew weren't in alignment, in integrity with who I truly wanted to be, but rather I was just acting out conditioned patterns and behaviours. Again, these are no excuses, and it doesn't take away the pain that we felt or that I've caused or that people have caused us. Pardon me, something flew into my eye. But what it does do, if we are able to forgive ourselves, is it allows us to move forward with momentum. And what that means is it allows us to learn from the past so that we don't make those same choices again, because they're not conducive to our health. They're not conducive to who we truly are. They're not conducive to what we value and what we believe in. So we're able to shift these old patterns and paradigms by forgiveness, by stepping into the unknown, by stepping into that mystery of what would it look like and feel like and be like and taste like and smell like and sound like if we were actually able to forgive ourselves, forgive our actions and our choices. I can't tell you how many how many days, how many nights I've spent begging myself for forgiveness, begging those that I've hurt for forgiveness. And at the end of all that, if we cannot actually release, to let in, to allow space, to create space for ourselves, to be more connected, to realize, to allow revealing to take place, then we'll never be able to forgive, and we will remain rigid, we will remain disconnected, we will remain in pain. And we will live a mediocre life, we will play small. We will not play to our potentiality, we will not live life to our potentiality, and we will not ever do any favours to anybody else, past, present or future. And the only way we can, in fact, collapse that timeline, so to speak, is through forgiveness, is through the power of forgiveness, is through the power of engaging the fullness of our ability to forgive and to release, to let in, to allow the magic in, to allow the magic of what forgiveness can give us and what forgiveness can teach us and how we can grow from that. Then that we can contribute to ourselves, to our growth, to our path, and we can, of course, contribute to the world. And sometimes it's really difficult to let go. It's really difficult. It's not so much letting go. That's why I was thinking about that. It can be deeply challenging and difficult to release the pain and the shame and the guilt that comes from acting in a particular way. And then when you become enlightened to that fact, or you realize openly that, wow, I can't believe I was that person, or I behaved in that way, and I'm so deeply sorry and apologetic, and I'm so deeply humbled by being that person. Of reality and our belief systems and our relationship ideas and who we've been in the past and our past experiences, and this very deep and almost sometimes convoluted journey, this maze that we have to go through, because we've got it's effort. It requires effort to elicit transformation, to inspire ourselves enough to shift through old stuff that's just fucking painful and holding us back unconsciously. When we're able to do that, we liberate ourselves from that past. And it's not easy, and sometimes people that have been in our lives will struggle to understand that, and it's not our place to force anybody to understand anything. It's not our place to force upon others our belief systems or our ideas or who we are as people or what we think and feel. Although sometimes we want to, sometimes we deeply feel that they need to know how we feel and know what we are thinking and know what we are experiencing. We cannot make anyone feel, experience or think anything. And when people are ready, sometimes, we live in a society, in a world today where we require intense pain for the majority of time to transform. See, transformation comes in two forms, essentially. Either we experience a fuckload of pain, and I mean a fuckload of pain, like the pain is just so intense that we have no choice but just to change, transform, shift paradigm, shift perspective, or we just develop this, we cultivate, or this inspiration comes and moves through us, this afflatus, this spiritual revealing or revelation moves through us that enlightens our minds and perspective in that moment where we're able to transform. For the majority of society, for the majority of our culture, where we are, we don't shift, we don't change, we don't transform without pain, and I mean intense pain. And that's been my experience. I've only shifted, not only, but previously only shifted through intense pain, and I'm grateful for that. I wouldn't change any of that. That saying, no pain, no gain, has relevance. All of the time, consistently? No, definitely not. We don't need to always learn and only learn through pain. Tony, brother, safe travels, man. Safe travels. I love you and miss you already. But when pain knocks on our door and we ignore it, we're suppressing it and we're dividing ourselves, we're fracturing our minds, we're fracturing our emotional state, we're fracturing our spirituality, and we're fracturing our belief system, we become confused, we become riddled with doubt, and we lose ourselves in that space. we lose our ability to be really deeply connected to who we are. And when we lose our ability to be connected, we lose our ability to function. We lose our ability to perform at our highest level, to live our potentiality, to embody the beauty and the wonder of who we are and the varied intelligence that we hold. And we lose that because we ignore pain. We suppress it. It moves into the unconscious self, and it forms part of our belief systems and our models of reality and how we view the world, but we have no real reference point. We have no conscious awareness of it. So when pain comes knocking at your door, it's knocking at your door for a reason. Pain is our friend. Pain is revealing. Be with it. Move with it. Just enough for you to then shift it. It will shift naturally. It will shift. I promise you it will shift. But it will only shift when you allow that, just like any other emotion and every other emotion that we experience, you allow that to penetrate the fullness of your being and be with that. And forgiveness is an inside job, and I've done a live feed on this before, and you could go on my YouTube channel, Sifandos, and you'll be able to see that. Forgiveness is an inside job. It's on my live feed playlist. I'm sure it will be there. But if we don't forgive, we don't shift and we don't move. And if we don't move, we lose ourselves. And if we're losing ourselves and we have nothing to give, we have nothing to express, we have no real thing to share with the world. So I urge you to look at where life is not really working, but to focus on where life is working, but to be aware of where life is not working and ask yourself, how is this serving me right here, right now? And Krishna says, I have numbed pain for so long, been finally facing it in the past 3 months. That's beautiful. I honour you for that journey. And I honour all of you and any of you out there that are facing your pain, that are being with your pain, that are connecting to your pain and to your fears, and you're searching, and that you're also simultaneously being present and being grounded and surrounding yourself with support and love and connection and prosperity and witnessing and wisdom to allow yourself to assist you in shifting through that pain, shifting through those fears as you explore, yeah? That's very important, deeply important. I want to thank you so much for being here. Thank you for allowing me to share. Thank you for allowing me to connect with you. Thank you for watching, for listening, for being present. Thank you for sharing. If you haven't shared this video and you feel it resonates, share. Please share with those that you care about, share with those you love, share on your page, share on your news feed. And it's a blessing to be able to speak to this. And sometimes we go through really, really dark places in our lives, and we think there's no way out. We think we cannot come out of that. And in my own life, in my own experiences, I've moved through some of the darkest, and it's a very subjective experience, but through some of the darkest places and chasms of reality I didn't even think existed. And I feel no human being should ever go there. But if they can go there and then come out, as I have in my own way, there is such depth of beauty and inspiration to be able to come from that and then to give to yourself, to your own journey, and to others. And it's life transformative, yeah? It really is in so many different ways. So be with that, experience that, feel that, and love yourself in that journey, in that process, and know that it's okay to forgive and it's okay to make mistakes. That's what this life is about. It's just how we relate to these choices that we make that really defines us as human beings, defines our movement forward in life, and defines the quality of our relationships. You can also follow me on Steph Sifandos, Relational Alchemist, my YouTube channel, Steph Sifandos. And for all the wonderful men out there that are watching this, and also ladies, if you have men that you feel need guidance in the space of relationship and how to consciously relate and consciously connect and communicate, then check out reclaimyourkingdom.com. And also in the title, there's my new program that's coming out as well in a month, Conscious Relating. And there's 12 principles of how we can consciously relate to each other, how we can connect to each other, how we can free each other, how we can liberate ourselves, connect to ourselves, feel ourselves in that space, and really learn to have enriching, vital, authentic, empowered relationships, connected relationships. Wishing you many blessings on your journey. Thank you so much. Any questions you have, comment, I'll get to them. and sending you lots of love and many blessings, and always one is glad to be of service. Thank you.